want to hear what Jhun has to say.
Oh, wow. It's a color there.
You are, girl. You are. Especially in the guard.
I know.
Girl,
it's
especially
so
in the
crazy
guard.
like how much people know me. Like some people be saying hi and I'm like, who is that?
Why even know you?
Where's your call?
Recorded now. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the Relationship Method Podcast. I am Chris, and today I have a very lovely guest. I've known her as a mechanic. Mm-hmm. We chopped it up several times. She is a surfer. She is also a counselor for a church.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have Jhun Buggy. Yay!
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for coming on, girl.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Hell, you should be excited. This is kind of a big deal, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just joking.
Celebrity status.
I know. How do you say your full name?
So my first name is Tamahani Kealohilani. Very
Hawaiian.
You know, people out here in Hawaii, they be naming their kids after super long names, but
Right? I know.
my full name is Tamahani Kealohilani. You can call me Lohi.
Lohi.
Tama. Depends. You know,
Depends.
some people be like Tama, and I'm like,
What's up, girl?
no.
Well, I call you Jhun because
Yeah.
that's what it says on her
Junebug.
name tape. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. How was your week and how was it? Oh, you know what? Before we start, how did I get the yes from you to come on?
I think it was just because I watch you all the time, and it's just constant. I watch your podcasts, I listen to it, and it's oh my god, it's so cool. And then I thought in my head how did you get all these people on your podcast? And then when you asked me, I was like, oh, so that's how that happened.
It is. So the way I get other people, I just shoot my shot everywhere. I do the same copy and paste text. Mm-hmm. And I'm just go do, you know, whoever's on my, yeah, exactly. Whoever responds, it's a go. I do get no's, but I mean, dude, it's a numbers game.
Right,
You'll figure that out throughout your lifetime when you're doing stuff maybe sales. It's just all numbers. So that's how I be getting people on.
Yeah, that's cool. I know. I saw Alec on here.
Yeah.
Super
He was a good guest.
I love him.
Definitely a good guest.
Yeah.
And I do have some other people in the military that come on
really,
too.
too?
Yeah.
I don't know. When I was watching the podcast with you and Alec, I think I was what are those words that he's saying? His vocab is so vast.
It's so extensive,
vast.
right? That's what happens when you get an education.
I know. I was dang.
I know, right? I gotta
Talk
get
about degree.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yo, fuck that. Fuck going back to school and shit. Hell nah. So tell me, how did you get into counseling children? Because that's out of the blue. I haven't had anyone that counsels children on the podcast yet. How did you get into that?
I guess the children that I counsel or kind of mentorship is through my church. A lot of people I know that's big controversy with religion and all stuff like that. But
yeah.
I grew up in church, so my grandma, she's very strong faith, very religious in a sense. She loves going to church. So growing up, her thing was come to church on Sunday. You have to go to church on Sunday. So I think when I turned 15, my mom passed away.
Yeah.
And I was going through a really tough time on my own, just trying to navigate okay, now where do I go? What do I do? How am I supposed to continue, right?
Yeah.
And 15 years old is young, and there's kids out there that maybe they lost their parents at a younger age, and at the time my dad was incarcerated.
Yeah.
And there was this program at church called Camp Agape, and it was just basically for kids with incarcerated parents. And it was crazy because at that point in time I was going to Bible study with my grandma. I was going to church, getting really into it, and going to my own youth ministries.
Yeah.
And never in a million years 10-year-old me back then would be I'm just going to church because I want to eat breakfast after service.
Facts. Oh, my bad. I'll be getting excited after church. I'll be eating, yeah.
My grandma would wake us up and be okay, we can go out. Oh, we're going out to a restaurant. Okay, I'm coming. Yeah. You know, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I can get pancakes. Okay, bet. And that was just what my purpose was, to go to church and go to get breakfast, go to get fed. And it's so different because like now me, an adult, you know, like
Adult you, yeah.
teenager, adult me, like it's very much like I'm still going to church to get fed, but instead of getting fed like physically, I'm getting fed emotionally. Like,
Oh my
getting
gosh.
fed like mentally, you know, like just getting into the word and like meeting other kids, you know, like I think a lot of kids like they're very ashamed to be like, oh yeah, I love God, you know, or I love church. And like I was like that. Like I was very much like I don't go to church. Like I would tell my friends, I don't go to church.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, you go to church? Oh, that's weird, you know? But secretly on the side I'm like, hey, like I'm going, I got refreshments in my hand, like
exactly.
cookies. And like it was so crazy because like when my mom passed away, my dad was incarcerated. I wasn't really talking to my dad. Like I didn't really like know too much about him. Like I vague memory like from when we grew up, and it was just like all bad stuff, you know. And that's like the biggest thing here in Hawaii, you know, like a lot of parents are either neglectful of their kids or they just let their kids go, let them do what they want to do. And like especially the generation now,
Yeah.
like nowadays, like I'd be looking at kids and they'd be looking like my age and they're like 12, 13, and I'm like, what? That's crazy because of my my little brother, he's 14, and he looks old,
like a grown-ass man.
like he looks 17, 18.
Wow.
And that's crazy. And people think like he's 17, 18.
Uh-huh.
And like he'll come out with me and my wife and like people will think like he's just our friend. Like that's not my little brother.
Yeah.
And because he's tall too.
Yeah.
And my younger sister, she's grown. Like really grown into
Grown
such
as in like she's 17?
Yeah,
or-
so she's 17,
okay.
but her facial features are very babyish.
Oh, really?
But at the same time, she's the older one compared to my brother.
Yeah.
Like my brother's the baby. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Like when I was 12, 13, like I didn't look like that. Like
Right?
like
How did this happen, right?
No, really. Like even like with makeup and stuff, like
Yeah.
like I walk into a Sephora and there's like kids there.
Mhm.
I walk into like an Ulta and there's kids there.
There's kids, yeah.
And I'm like, I wasn't even wearing makeup at like 12, 13.
Yeah.
Maybe 16, 17. Like that was when I started like doing my eyebrows and like wearing mascara. But like even like extensions, like eyelash extensions, like
Yeah.
I'd be wearing my eyelash extensions. You already know.
Yeah.
But like I didn't start doing that till I was like 20.
Why do you think kids now are wanting to grow up a little bit faster?
I mean, I think it's also too like social media.
Oh,
Very much influential. Like social media has a big toll on like the generation nowadays, I think. And I mean even with adults too, like, you know, like everyone checks their phone, everyone's on their phone, like it's so crazy. Like you can't even have a meal and then not see anybody like on their phone.
I hate that.
Me too.
I hate it. Like when I'm with like people at dinner or even lunch.
Yeah.
The phone is up.
In their face.
Dude, am I talking to you
Or your phone.
Or like, are you focused on this conversation or
Yeah.
you know, you and I?
That is so very much
I
like
hate that,
me.
yeah.
Like my wife is an iPad kid. Like she's very much like YouTube, Netflix. That's what we eat, and like I've gotten accustomed to it just because like I noticed like that's the only way I'm gonna get a conversation.
Wait, hold up. She watches Netflix while your guys are out and eating.
Oh, not out, but like when we're at home. But
okay,
like,
okay, I can see that. Okay.
But it's so different because like I grew up in like a household where my mom was very much like, put your electronics away, shut
Yeah.
the TV off. Like if you're reading a book, put your book down. You know, like and then you sit down at the table, you pray, and then it's, how was your day? What did you do?
I like that.
You know,
I like that. I'm like that with my kids when dinner or even lunch, everything's off, and at the table it's more like me connecting with them. Like,
Right.
yo, just rapping with them again. You know,
Yeah.
like, oh, how's your day? What are you thinking?
Yeah,
And
like
if
how
it's
are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if it's dead silent, it's cool because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, something could pop off and we could like talk about it. Right.
Right.
But I do like that.
Yeah.
How, it doesn't even have to be the man of the table, but everyone's conversing at the dinner table and just talking
Yeah,
about stuff.
totally. I love that. Like that's why like with my wife, like I try to like instill like we're very much like, let me know what you're doing, update me, you know, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
like I try to keep some stuff like under the wraps until I get home.
Yeah.
So it's like it leaves room for that, like, okay, we're building a connection, we're building this
That
communication.
conversation,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so how was your day? And then sometimes even if it's just it was fine. it's still good, you know, like it's like, oh, okay, like it was good. Oh, so what happened? You know, like you can back off, you know, like like okay, like it was good. Okay, what'd you do? You know,
how was it good?
How was it good? What made it fine? You know, and like I'm like totally like I love stuff like that, and I like talking about like my day or like what I'm doing and stuff like that. Like I'm very much that kind of person.
So you're very communicative with. Is that even a word? Okay, I guess
so.
I'll make it up right now. You're like that with your wife?
Yes. Oh, I mean, even with my sister. So like, my older sister, we're so close. Like, I think we go every day. Every day we call each other. Because we both live separate, obviously. And she has a family of her own. And my niece, like, I think we're very much the same because of our upbringing. Like, my niece is gotten to a point where she can yap. Like, she can have a full-grown conversation with an adult, and she's only 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
And her vocabulary is so extensive that sometimes she'd be saying words that I don't even know.
You're like, wait, hold up. Let me,
I'm like, let
me go on my phone and
Google
check.
that.
Make me sound stupid real quick.
Yeah.
Say something.
And it's so crazy because, like, even my auntie, them, like, who watch her, like, from time to time. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Like, from time to time. Like, my auntie, them, who watch them watch her from time to time, like, they're, like, amazed, too. Because from a young age, I think, like, maybe 4, she started saying, like, big words.
Really?
And I'm like, how do you know that word? Like, I'll ask her, like, who taught you that? And she's like, oh, YouTube. Or, like, I'm like, okay, at least I know what you're watching
University
on YouTube.
Of YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, what? I mean, I'm glad you're watching educational videos on YouTube, but, like, did you go read a book?
Yeah.
But she likes, like, to read.
That's good.
Like, she
That's
likes
really
to
good,
read.
Yeah.
And she likes math. Like,
math.
Really, she loves it. Like, I think the other day my sister posted something, like, she got a reward or something, and it was like she's like super efficient in math for like her age.
Wow.
And I'm like, it's so crazy, like, because I don't have kids, but like I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and like watching them from like when they were like little tiny babies to like what they are now, like their age range is probably like 5 to 7, and then I have like 2 nephews who are 3, and like it's just crazy, like, to see them grow. And I'm, like, telling my sisters and my aunties, like, oh, I wonder how you guys feel. Like, if it makes me feel like, it gives me, like, heart palpitations. Like, oh, my God, like, I'm gonna cry. You know? Like, like, it's just, like, it's amazing to see, like, a little brain develop.
Yeah.
And it's so, like, amazing to me. Because it's, like, you don't realize it in yourself. Like, when you learn something new or when you teach something new, you're just like, oh, yeah, it's just something I know, you know? But you don't, like, see it as, like, I'm helping that other person's brain develop, like, 2 times bigger than what it is already. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
It is.
It's so crazy.
It is. Do you think adults can do that? Where other people can, I guess, get your... Oh, shit.
This is so technical.
Yeah. It's getting technical. But do you think other people's like thoughts and stuff could get you thinking outside of your box too?
Oh yeah, totally. I think that's just anyone I think I come in contact with, like, it's kind of like your point of view, you know, like how you see the world versus how somebody else sees the world, you know? And it's like that saying, like, maybe you see the world in color, but somebody else sees it in black and white.
Yeah.
You know? So I think most definitely, like, for adults, I think no matter how old you are, you still have that room to, like, learn.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really dislike people that are just ignorant and they're just stuck in
that way.
type of way.
Yeah.
For ejemplo, for example, I get in discussion, like presidential discussions at work sometimes. And me, I'm like in the middle. I'm not right or left. So they would talk about Trump. And afterwards, I would hear the Biden side.
Oh, right.
So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, because I don't know.
Yeah,
like, I don't know
that's
the issues.
me.
The only thing that I see is the stuff that I maybe see on TikTok or like read, right?
Right.
So it's good to see, you know, a Trump side and the Biden side. I talk to other people where it's just, oh, Biden's all right, or Trump's just all right, and won't take in
the consideration
of what Trump or Biden is trying to do.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay. I just keep quiet and I just listen.
That's me. Because I mean, a lot of people will probably bash me for this, but I don't vote.
Mm-hmm,
And it's crazy because, like, everyone says, like, oh, you're in the military. Why don't you vote? Like, that's your boss, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's my boss. But at the end of the day, like, I don't listen to him because I'm not directly under him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I listen to my sergeants, my first sergeant, my captain, my commander, you know? And it's like, they have to listen to him, not me. And when I get up there, then I'll worry, you know? But, like, for the most part, like, I don't like to get into politics just because for the simple fact of, like, you're wrong, I'm right. Kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like, you're right, I'm wrong. Like, don't tell me what I know kind of thing. And I'm, like, so, like, anti-voting. Like, I don't vote because I don't think that people's lives should be in the hands of people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, regular people.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's like, at the end of the day, for me, in my opinion, I feel like even if you vote, it doesn't matter if you vote. Because it all matters to, like, congressmen, senators, like
the legislators,
those people.
Yeah.
And like their vote matters.
Mm-hmm.
And like of course they say like your vote matters, you know, like the people's vote matters. And like in all honesty, like I just think like it has to get cleared. Mm-hmm. You know, there's always a next level. So that's why I don't vote. Like I'm just like, man, it's okay.
I mean that's a real good way to look at it because we're, you know, with the statesmen, the legislators, they're like up here control all the votes. We're just down here.
Right.
Like who cares about about us, right? So I do understand where you're coming from. Like if our vote really does matter, then we would. I mean, I don't think Trump will be in office.
Yeah.
I don't think I was gonna say Bin Laden.
Whoa.
Obama would have probably never came in office.
Right.
If it was, you know, like up to us because there's a majority of.
Yeah.
You know, other people opposing it.
Yeah. And
so,
I also think
totally
it's like a favoritism thing too.
Facts. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like, okay, this person has this much influence on these people.
Right.
What about this person? Oh, he doesn't have that much like influence on these people. Maybe we should go with this guy, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's just it. Because, like, if you think about it, like, Trump has been around for how many years, you know? He's been in movies. He has,
he's
like...
been in for a cool minute, yeah.
And, like, he's been social media, you know? The tabloids, like, he's just been front page. And he's, like, a millionaire, billionaire, or whatever. And he owns a hotel, you know? And, like, you think about this. Like, this guy has so much influence. And he knows just a lot of people.
Yeah.
Compared to, like, Biden, maybe. Or whoever else, you know? And it's, like, that's influence, you know? Like, oh, vote for me and I'll pay you. Or vote for me and I'll give you this. Or vote for me and I'll exploit your company kind of thing. And I just think that's, like, where it starts. Like, just the influence of it all. And it's crazy.
The cloud is real. From bottom all the way to the top, the cloud is real. We're going to answer these questions real quick.
Yeah.
First one is, who's your favorite aunt?
I already know who that is. My Auntie Sherry first.
Auntie Sherry, remember Meryl, I'll shout you out. Thank you for
That's my
listening.
auntie who watches
Okay.
all the time. And definitely my dad's two sisters. They've been there for me a lot.
Oh, that's
Definitely.
good. That's good. Next question is, how was it like growing up?
How was it like growing up? Oh,
yeah, I don't know if you know this person, but
I don't know. It was rough. I mean, I think anybody in Hawaii, you know, like it's just rough out here. Mm-hmm. It's rough out here in these streets.
In these streets, girl. In these streets.
And I mean, it was rough, but it was enjoyable. You know?
Of course, yeah. You got the beach. I mean, you got family.
Yeah, like I think it's just like, you know, it comes down to the whole point of like your paradise is my home. Yeah. You know? We're just lucky we live in Hawaii. It's everybody's like dream vacation and everything
facts,
like that.
Girl.
But I think growing up, like it was hard, you know, like being with my mom, like a single mother, raising two kids, but at the same time also raising ourselves. You know, like choosing your own path in life and stuff. And I think I'm really grateful for the way that I was raised and how, like, I grew up. Because I think I've had a lot of people, like, excuse my language, but, like, really shit on me for, like, because of how I was as a kid. Like, I was very, like...
Tomboy-ish?
Tomboy and rebel.
Oh.
Very rebellious.
Okay, yeah.
And, like, I was, like, because of my mouth, it gets me in trouble a lot. Like, and it's also to the point, like how I was saying before, like some people can't handle blunt and they don't take it like that. So they get mad.
Yeah.
And then like as a kid, like I would get angry so fast because at the same time, like you're dealing with home stuff, and then when you go to school, you're under so much stress because you're like your family's like, okay, you need to pass, you need to do all your homework.
Yeah, definitely.
And then it's like when you go home, then you're dealing with stress at home, and
Uh-huh.
it's like, oh, what kind of stress at home? You know, like, oh, maybe your mom needs you to clean, maybe you need to do like 10 billion chores, you know.
Chores, yeah.
And like I think in all honesty, like I'm grateful for that. Like I'm grateful for the strong hands, like the lickings I caught as a kid, like the lickings very much needed. Sometimes I think maybe as an adult might need lickings again.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful for it. Like growing up was a joy. I mean, yeah, ups and downs. Anybody and everybody goes through it. But I don't think my childhood was
That bad.
that bad.
Yeah.
You know, like there's definitely people out there that have gone through a lot more stuff than maybe I have.
Yeah.
And that's just inevitable. You know, there's always somebody that has it worse or not as great. I'm not going to say worse, but not as great as you. And I think, yeah, like, I think without the way that I was raised, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Where you are right now.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know what lickings mean, what does
Oh.
lickings mean?
So, lickings is like,
Get your ass beat.
yeah, I was like,
Get spanked.
I was like, I don't know how to like say it, yeah, and not like taps on the butt kind.
Oh, okay.
like
So you really getting
like,
spanked.
Like spanked. Well, it got to a point because like growing up, my mom would give like me and my sister lickings, and then tell us to like go in timeout.
Yeah.
And like me and my sister like.
Hey, so you get both of them? You get lickings and timeout?
Yeah. So
Ooh.
it got to a point when I was a kid, like my mom's lickings didn't faze me anymore.
Oh, okay.
And I started laughing at my mom. And it's so disrespectful.
Super disrespectful.
Super disrespectful.
But it's okay, though.
But, like, it was to a point, like, my mom would be like, yeah, you think it's funny? Okay, fine. Go hug your sister in the corner.
Ooh.
I'm
And
like-
dude, I do not want to do that
But
right now.
it's not even that. It's, my sister wasn't in trouble.
Uh-huh.
But now she's in trouble, and now she has to hug me in the corner. So now
Uh-huh.
it's not my mom giving me lickings, it's my sister.
It's like a domino effect. Oh,
So
God.
it just like everything, and then I'm like, I was like, I don't know who to fear more, my mom or my sister. But like my sister would be like, bro, you're getting me in trouble for no reason.
Girl.
And I'm like,
Girl.
I didn't mean to. Like I just laughed, and she's like, just take the lickings, like cry a little. Like
Yeah.
we used to talk about it all the
Take it.
time.
I know.
And like it's like one of those things where like you know when you get lickings and you go inside the bathroom or you go inside your room and you go to slam the door and then you shut it super slow.
Yeah.
And then you're like fighting the air.
Oh, right. Like,
yeah.
ooh.
And then you're like, I'm moving. Like
Yeah.
I'm moving out.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
And you attempt to like pack a bag.
Uh-huh.
And then my mom would come inside and she's like, where are you going? Nowhere.
It's like, no.
Nowhere.
You can't even cross the street yet.
Yeah.
So
Or
you just got your bag.
it got to one point where I packed a bag and my mom grabbed my bag. Like she's like, okay, you want to go? She started packing my clothes for me.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm like, no,
I
no,
wanna
no.
stay.
And like, she literally put it outside. She grabbed me by my ear and she put me outside and she goes, go. And she closed the door.
So how old were you?
I think I was like 12 or
12.
11, like something
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was crazy because like at that age, you're like, where do I go?
Yeah, right?
I have no money, you know? Me and the 50 cents on my back.
Exactly. So I remember I got mad at my little one. She's 6 now. But when I got mad at her, she was 5. And she wanted to like run away, right?
Oh my.
Let me tell you, in her bag was a towel, her hoodie, a whole buttload of clothes. I mean, not clothes, toys. Like
Oh,
her
yes.
favorite toys. And was it, I think a banana.
Oh my.
And then no money whatsoever. I was like, oh, you want to leave? And I think she got it from YouTube or something. Or the episodes that we watch on Netflix or whatnot. But she got her bag and she didn't even walk out the door. She just stood looking at the door for like a good 5. I let her look at it for 5 minutes, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, you ready to come back?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Oh
I'm
my
like, oh
gosh.
my god! But they're so quick to leave, these kids.
I know.
swear.
I was one
Oh,
of those
you a
kids.
problem child, girl.
I was
You a
one of those
problem.
kids.
Oh,
I was
man.
one of those kids.
All right, question time. Does type matter nowadays?
For me?
Yeah, like yeah, for you as a woman, and she's married. She said it a couple times on the
Yes.
podcast, so y'all could stop hitting me up to see, ask her if she's single.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
I got
no.
those DMs. Yeah, so.
Oh why?
Why?
Yo, wild.
That little time of me posting your picture.
That was like only a couple hours ago.
Exactly, a couple hours means a lot. I guess in social media.
I know.
I don't
Goes
know.
Fast.
But I mean, shit, you got questions on here. I mean, in those couple of hours too.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah, does type matter nowadays, or, is it the settle down is like more convenient?
So like, I guess like before my wife, like before everything.
Yeah.
For me, like, I thought I had a type. Like I
Same.
thought,
I thought I had a type.
I
too,
thought
yeah.
I thought I had a type. Like it was just like Asians, Filipino. Like like I mean, you see my wife. She's very Filipino.
She's very Filipino.
She's 100% Filipino.
Mabuhay!
Yeah. But like that was like my type.
Yeah.
A very athletic. Because I was in sports and like my thing is like if I can run faster than you, bro, like you gotta go. Like
Really?
like it was
So that
because
was-
I'm very competitive.
Okay. Yeah.
So like I like that competition, friendly competition
Mhm.
between like me and my other half, and like that's just how it was like back then. And like before, yes, I dated
Before.
guys
Uh-huh.
before my wife. Like when I would date a guy, I think it was more or less of, yeah, okay, looks matter, but where's your mindset at?
Really?
Like,
So at a young, I guess, and when you started liking guys, that's what you were focused on, the
Yeah.
mind more than.
more than like
Appearance and
yeah,
everything? Okay.
appearance. I mean, no backlash to my exes if
Uh-huh.
you gonna watch this, but
There's a definite backlash.
I mean, like no offense, but like they're not the cream of the crop, and everyone would tell me like, a girl like you who looks like you're with like this kind of person, and it's like for me it was like at the time, before I got into a relationship with them, the talking stage, it was like they really led me to think like, okay,
There was someone else.
yeah, like, oh yeah, like okay, you're smart, you have like a good head on your shoulders and all this and all that. And then when it really comes down to the nitty gritty of it, it's like, okay, so that's who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's who you are. And why didn't you tell me from the beginning?
Yeah.
And that's why I am the way that I am now.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm very much blunt. Like, I'm going to tell you. Like, this is what it is. This is what it is. And, like, it's so crazy because when I met my wife, I was so nervous. Like, so nervous.
Why would you be nervous in meeting?
Well, because,
Another person.
so, I've dated girls, like, before my wife.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
And like with other girls, it was like, like I was friends with them. With my girl, I wasn't really like her friend. Like I knew her, I knew of her, I knew about her, and like I went to AIT with her.
Yeah.
So I met her in AIT. She was the only Hawaii girl there, besides me, and I was like 2 weeks away from graduating, and then I met her.
Uh-huh.
So like I didn't really get to know her, like there was no friendship, there was no like get to know each other kind of thing, and like I would see her and then I'd like turn away. Like I was so quick to like look at her and then turn away.
Were you attracted or were you just shy?
I think I was
At that
attracted,
time.
like definitely attracted. Like I thought she was super pretty. She had a nice smile and like she was just very athletic. Like she looked like she, could outrun me.
Yeah.
Or not even outrun me, but keep up at
Yeah.
the same time. But it was very much of like, I think I was starstruck, to be honest with you.
Really?
Like
That's cute.
you know what's crazy? She's probably gonna watch this and be like, why didn't she tell me this?
It's like, why you lying?
I know,
Girl,
like
why you lying?
she's gonna be like, why are you lying?
And when did all this happen?
I know.
What was I doing at the time?
And like, I never told her this, but I was like so starstruck. Like every time I would see her, like I'd get so nervous. And there was this one point in time where she literally was like hanging out on the stairs, and I'm coming out to formation.
Yeah.
And like AIT, BCT, like with your little camelback and your
Yeah.
PTs, looking all raggedy and stuff.
Of course, yeah.
And like, for me, like I was in phase 5, so I had civilian clothes on, and I guess she knew that I was gay. She said
you gave off the vibe.
Yeah, she said I gave off the vibe because like before now, like I only wear my engagement ring, but I used to wear like a lot of rings and a lot of chains. Like I guess that's very like gay coded, I guess. I don't
Is it
know.
really?
I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of gay men too. Like they wear a lot of rings on their fingers
I know
like
a lot of straight men too that wear rings
yeah.
on their fingers.
So
yeah.
like that's why like I'm in this point in day like it's so hard to tell like whether because men now are kind of feminine, like they're more feminine.
Let me tell you, my gaydar be off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say at least 60% of the time
Yes,
now.
yes, because
Yeah.
like a lot of men are very soft nowadays.
Yeah, they are.
And I mean nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
It's so good to see men in their soft era. Go you. But at the same time, it's very hard to be aware. Like I'm gay and I can't even tell a straight man, you know. And it's like, are you gay? and then at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. And then my wife will be like, I think so. Like we'll be trying to guess, and it's like, how do you know now? You know.
Let me ask you: is it wrong since you're married to a woman? Is it wrong if you and your wife go up to a stranger and say, "Hey, are you gay or are you straight?"
I don't know. I mean, like,
would that offend like a gay or a straight guy?
I feel like it would.
So a random guy. So is it better off going up to a random guy and asking, "Hey, are you straight?" opposed to "Are you gay?" Or is it better saying, "Hey, are you gay?" than rather than straight?
I feel like it would be super offensive. Like, cause if they're straight,
to both, yeah.
I think, yeah.
You think so?
I mean, that's
okay.
That's hard.
So, that's what she said. So for example, let's say we didn't know Alec.
Okay.
We both know Alec.
Yeah.
Would it offend him, you think, if you went up to him and says, "Hey, are you straight?" opposed to saying, "Hey, are you gay?"
No, I don't think so.
No, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
I mean, Alec is very open, so.
Yeah, he is. I mean, first look, I didn't think he was.
No, yeah.
I didn't think he was gay. I
Yeah.
thought he was
straight.
I thought he was straight until me and him chopped it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like once he started talking, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Because
he's
soft spoken.
Very soft spoken, very feminine, but he's also like manly too at the same time.
He is. No, he very is.
Yeah, and I applaud that because like a lot of people think that gay men have to be like a certain way to be gay.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I know people who are like really masculine, but they're gay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you don't have to be like Mahu. I mean, okay, so Mahu is like, like your girly kind of guy, But like, you don't have to be like
fall into the stereotype,
feminine.
right?
Yeah, like there's like times are changing, like not everyone dresses in drag, not everyone, wears girl clothes, Like there's men out there that can dress like literally like how you're dressed and then be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gay."
Yeah.
And same with like girls too.
Oh my gosh, girls too. Yes.
Girls too, cuz like everyone would be like, "Look at me," and then be like, "Oh, you're not gay." And then look at my wife and be like, "Ah, she's gay."
Oh, she's gay.
Because why? My wife has short hair because she has a boy haircut, because she wears boy clothes. There's people out there that's tomboy and they're straight,
Yeah.
And like I grew up with a lot of people like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's so crazy because I think like throughout my whole time before like I found myself, it was very much like I was tomboy, like everyone was like, "Oh yeah, she hangs out with the guys. She does a lot of guy activities, like surfing, bodyboarding, fishing, diving, like that's considered a masculine activity." And it's crazy because like at that point, like I was still kind of considered straight, I guess. Like I was still into men at the time.
Uh-huh.
And in intermediate was kind of where I was like, I think I like girls. So like I had a phase where so my mom had cancer and she shaved her head, and like at the time like I had a huge crush on like Cher Lloyd and like Rihanna.
Uh-huh.
And like at the time their hair was like half shaved.
Yeah.
So like I took the buzzer while shaving my mom's head and I buzzed my head.
Do you have any pictures of that?
I don't.
I mean, no.
I don't.
No, okay.
I think I do. I yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure I do. But yeah, like I buzzed my head and had long hair. Like my hair was super long. Like
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah.
It's like past her butt.
Yeah, my hair was super long.
Yeah.
And I just shaved my head, and my mom, first of all, like she went nuts because.
Of course.
Like, what are you doing? Why did you do that? All the questions came to light. And at that time, like, that was when I was really questioning, like, do I like girls,
Really?
And it's kind of crazy because a little backstory. my dad and my mom separated.
Yeah.
And my dad was in jail. My mom found love with another woman. So I was raised by 2 women.
Okay, and so being raised by 2 women, that's the norm to you then?
Yeah, so that's so normal. And like a lot of people will ask me like, "Oh, because you were raised by 2 women, is that the reason why you're gay?" And like I tell them all the time like, "No. It is not."
Yeah.
Like there was no influential, decision on my parents' side or between my moms that told me like you have to be gay, or this is the only kind of love that so now you're going to be gay, Cuz my sister's straight. She has a kid,
Yeah.
She has a husband.
preference,
Yeah,
like,
I think it's just like what you like, and whoever you like is who you end up with. And that's same with my mom, because my mom would tell us all the time like, your dad is like the only man that I'll ever love because he gave me you guys,
Yeah.
and I'll always have a piece of him because of you guys. And so like we expected my mom to like find another guy maybe, or like look for a stepdad, whatever, right? And then I think when she introduced us to her girlfriend, like for me, it wasn't a shock. Like,
Yeah.
Like I was just like, okay, like that's a girl. Okay, whatever. And at the time, I was like 4 or 5 years old, I think, when I met her girlfriend, and I was like, this is crazy. And like I wasn't aware of how people felt about same-sex like relationships.
Back in the day.
Yeah, until like my parents picked me up. Like before, it was just my mom, and I think it was like 4th grade, and like we had hoike.
What was that?
So it's
For
like,
people that don't know.
I was like, for people that don't know, hoike is like May Day, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically like like each class in elementary, like you dance and you perform before you go on your summer break, and that was what we were doing, right? And I told my mom like, I really want my mama, which is her girlfriend, I really want my mama to come. Like why can't she come? Like she's my parent too. And like before that, I was playing basketball, like intramural. Like in elementary, I was playing basketball, and there was a game that we had. It was like championships, and I told my mom, I want you to be there. And she was like, okay, I'll be there. I was like, can you bring mama? And like at the time, like I've never had 2 parents show up for me.
Yeah.
Like at any like sports events, nothing. Hula, Tahitian, like it was always my mom.
Yeah.
Just my mom. And like at the time, like I'm like, okay, but you have another half. Why? Like, do they not want to be around us? Like that's what I thought. And then my mom was just like, no, like, she's just not comfortable. Like, she doesn't want to make you uncomfortable. And, like, me as a kid, I didn't know.
You're like, what do we do to make her uncomfortable?
Yeah, like, I was like, well, how would she be uncomfortable, So they both came, and it wasn't until after my basketball game, this girl comes up to me, and she's like, where's your dad? And I'm like, I don't have a dad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I have a dad, but he's not here. You know? And like growing up, like I was very ashamed of my dad being in prison because I didn't want people to know that my dad was like an ex-convict.
Yeah.
So I would just say like he's a businessman, like, oh, he's on a trip,
He's a spy.
Yeah, like I would just be like, oh, he's on a trip, like he's remote business kind of thing. And then like the girl was like, oh, who's that holding your mom's hand? Like very, very mean girl.
Yeah.
Like coded, like it was so bad. And like I was like, that's my mom. Like I consider her my mom.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's my mom. And she's like, no, the girl holding your mom's hand. And I was like, my mom. And then I was like, why are you in my business? Like,
right?
Like, what? Why does it matter, And she's like, your mom likes girls. And then she looks at me and she gives me one of the...
Oh, no.
And I'm looking at her and, like, this is where it all started. I punched her in the throat. Because, like, 1, don't disrespect my mom.
Yeah.
2, don't disrespect my mom in front of my face. And 3, don't eye me out like that.
Oh. Like 1, strike 2, strike 3, she got it.
Yeah, like, like she checked all the boxes, and I was like, I'm gonna punch this girl in the esophagus.
And then you were young. You were like,
yeah, I was like in 4th grade.
Okay.
No, yeah, I was older now, but like she started coming around that time. And like that girl was like, she was like, I never known anybody to have 2 moms. Like that's weird. And like I wasn't aware it was weird.
Yeah.
At the time. So like when I went home, like I was crying. Like I was like, why if my friends like don't want to be my friends anymore?
Okay.
And like my mom was like trying to explain to me like, like not too many people see eye to eye on like same-sex relationships. And like for me, like I'm just like, I don't care. Like for me, I don't care.
Yeah.
And she's like, you may not care and you may not see it as a problem, but people outside of our family will see it as a problem. And she goes, what you did at school is uncalled for. She goes, I understand that you're mad and like you're trying to defend like me and your mom, but at the end of the day, you can't just go around hitting people because they be saying like some wild stuff, And she goes, you're gonna come into contact. She's like, as long as me and your mom are together and as long as we're alive, like you're gonna be coming into a lot of like disagreements, arguments, like because we're the way we are. And she goes, and you know what the best thing you can do? Just say, oh well, not my problem. Sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah.
And that's
good job, Mom. Good job.
Yeah, good job. Good job. Like,
oh, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. No, yeah. So like as I grew up, like that's when the whole like having a type thing came into like play. Like what my mom instilled in my head is like, it doesn't matter who you love is love.
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah.
And like everyone says like growing up in church, right? God is unconditional love. So like for the longest time, like I would think like, oh my gosh, does God hate me? Like if I like girls? Because when I started having those feelings, like it was very much like when I started having like girl crushes on celebrities, and it was like, like people told me like, oh yeah, my girl crush is this person. So I'm like, are they gay too? Or is it just like me?
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh my God, like how do I navigate this? And my mom wasn't alive anymore, so it was even more harder. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like how am I gonna tell my family like that I think I like girls but not know, And so at that point, like there was this one girl in intermediate. She was very out there. Like she knew who she was. She was very confident in like what she liked, what she wanted. And she came up to me, and it was like Valentine's Day. Shout out next month, Valentine's Day.
Hey, right, make your reservations.
Yeah. It was Valentine's Day, and she comes up to me and she's like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey." She was like, "Do you want to be my date to the Valentine's Day like dance?" And I was like as friends, and she was like, "No, silly, like more than friends." And I was like, okay. Like I was just like. Sure,
So what's intermediate for people that don't know?
Oh, so like middle school?
That's middle school. So like, intermediate is middle school.
So 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
They call it intermediate out
here.
Okay, well, cool.
I don't know. Even my wife, she like gets on me all the time because in Kauai, she's from Kauai.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Kauai people.
Kauai,
she like they call it middle school too.
Yeah, us mainland folk call it middle school.
Yeah, so like down here.
Lines are weird.
Down here, there's schools called middle schools, but like where I went to Pro City, not Pro City Highlands. I mean Highlands Intermediate. So that's what I know.
Oh, okay. So it makes sense.
So I didn't know that it was called middle school. So like my 7th grade year, I went there, and my 8th grade year, I went to IAEA middle school. Then that's when I learned the difference. Like it's not IAEA Intermediate, it's IAEA middle school. Yeah. So I was like, what's the difference? And then like they would just say like just another word for like secondary school, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was
so
like,
continue. So
Valentine's Day dance.
Valentine's girl, yeah.
And like so we went to the dance. Like I told my mom, there's this girl that asked me to the dance. Like she wants to wear white and pink. And so can we go get a dress? And at the time like I wanted to wear a dress, and then I told my mom like when we were trying it on, I was like, I don't want to wear a dress. And she was like, what do you want to wear? So I just ended up wearing like jeans.
Okay.
And like I was very much a sneaker girl. Shout out to my mom because she's the OG sneaker girl.
Hey, oh yeah.
I was wearing like these Jordan 4s, and they were pink and black. Mm-hmm. And like I was very much in my Nicki Minaj era. Like I was. So like,
did you have holes in your jeans too? Ew. Or did they? Or were they at least?
No. They were all like one.
Okay, good for you.
One.
Good for you.
Yeah, not like these, but they were like very non-holish.
Yeah.
And like they were just like typical skinny jeans. And like back then like those sheer shirts were in.
Yeah.
With a tank top, and I wore one of those, and it was a pink shirt. And I went to the dance, and she's very much like masculine, not very girly. She's very like board shorts kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
And she wore almost like the same thing that I wore.
Oh, nice.
And we both looked at each other, and like she was like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna wear a dress." And I was like, "No, I'm not comfortable in dresses, because I'm not like." I mean, now that I'm older, I wear dresses, but like back then, like I wasn't. Like I was very much a basketball shorts girl with a tank top, shorts, and like Scott slippers.
Yeah.
or my Jordans,
Yeah.
Like that's how I dressed. And she was like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna wear a dress."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, I'm wearing this."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, but then like when we take pictures," and I was like, "So you want me to be girly for you because you look like the way you look?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole point of being gay." And I was like, I didn't say I got mad because I didn't tell her that I was gay. And, like, I was still navigating, if I was gay.
Yeah.
And, like, I was like, I didn't say I was gay. I thought, like, this was just very much, like, a friend thing.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't even know you. Like, I told her that. Like, I don't even know you. Like, you just came up to me and asked me. And I agreed because we could be friends.
Yeah.
And more of the story, we didn't end the night together.
I mean, how were you? Like, you were in middle school.
Yeah, but like like how like you stay with them till like the whole night, and then your parents come and they pick you up, take pictures. We did not take pictures together. Her mom, I didn't meet her mom. She didn't meet my mom. Like the night was just like after that one point, like she didn't even want to take pictures with me.
Oh shit!
So like I just hung out with my friends. And,
okay, cool.
And she hung out with hers.
Yeah.
And then the next day at school, she comes up to me and she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like, she apologized.
Oh, good job. Good job.
And I was like, "Oh, it's okay." And she's like, "I didn't know you were gay. Like, I just thought you were because of the way you act."
Oh.
And I was like, "Do I act a certain way?" She's like, "You're very rough. Like, rough around the edges. You're not dainty."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I feel like that's every local girl, low-key.
Yeah.
Like, we're just raised different,
Yeah.
And we are dainty in our own way, but at the same time, like, we have that little tomboy side because
definitely.
Look at where we live, like, it's not like it's a very, I mean, yeah, city life, but there's the beach, there's the mountains, girls hunt, girls surf, girls bodyboard, girls dive, girls can fish, and it's just like one of those, like, anything a man can do, a girl can do.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
And that is what she told me. Like, she was just like, "You're just rough." And I was like, "Okay, I'm rough."
Yeah. Okay.
Like, what does that mean? And she's like how I am, like, I ride quads and I go hunting. And I'm like, "Okay, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, you're just a girl who does that."
Yeah, exactly. A girl with hobbies.
Yeah, I was like everybody has, like, to each his own, And I was like, just because I do certain things, that doesn't mean that it's like, okay, you're gay. Like, that means you're gay.
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, go ahead, break it down.
And, like, I think that's just for everybody in the spectrum. Like, I think some girls, like, whether you're straight or gay, it's like, oh, you shouldn't be acting like that because you're gay. Or you shouldn't be acting like that because you're a girl. You shouldn't be acting like that because you're a woman. And it's like, okay, so how am I supposed to act?
Yeah, there's no rule book.
Yeah. It's like when people say, or like, when people look at me and then they're like, "Oh, what nationality are you?" Uh-huh. And it's like, you tell them, like, "Oh, Hawaiian, Tahitian, Korean, Puerto Rican,"
She a mutt.
And yeah. and they're like, "Oh, you don't look Korean."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You don't look Hawaiian. Like, "Oh, I'm sorry, let me just like my tattoos," or "Oh, I don't look Korean. Okay, let me wear hanbok then for you to like see that I am." Like, what is it gonna take for you to believe me, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to do? See my birth certificate? And it's like, even then, like, I was born in Germany. So the people think I'm German because I'm born in Germany.
Oh.
And I'm like, there's no German descent, maybe, I mean, shout out, like, to all the local people out here who's mixed, but maybe there's, like, little bits of, like, something else.
23andMe.
Yeah.
Got you.
And it's, like, just, like, I think everyone's just like that nowadays. Like, "Oh, you don't look gay. You don't look like this. You don't look like that." Like, "Oh, I'm sorry. How am I supposed to look?"
Whatevs, man.
Yeah, like, so that was very much, like, my first encounter with a girl.
Really?
So, like, what I took away from that was, like, very much that type thing. Like, okay, that's not my type. You know, like that is not my type. And then throughout high school, like I checked out girls, but I was so scared for my family to find out. You know, I was not very open. And because my grandma was the way that she was, and I was staying with her.
Grandparents, yeah.
Yeah,
Old school grandparents.
I was very, like, she's, it's crazy, because my grandma was gay, like, back then, you know?
Go ahead, Grandma. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
that's
get it,
why I'm
girl.
like, girl, you be eating coochie
Yeah,
too. but like, I don't know, like, I just didn't want to come out at all. Like, I was scared. And my sister, like, she would tell me, like, do you like girls? And I would tell her, no. Like, so fast.
Yeah.
No. And, like, she's like, are you sure? Because, like, you have...
You answered all fast.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
and plus, too, like, I would always talk about, like, oh, Kehlani's so fine. And, like, Rihanna's so fine. Like, all this stuff. And, like, I would always... Like, Kehlani was, like... Oh, my God. Like, she was just, like, it for me.
Yeah.
Like, I think she's it for a lot of people. I
think she is, too.
I think she questions a lot of people's sexuality. But, like, she was, like, the pinpoint of, like, okay, I can be girly, but I can be gay, but I can also be straight. Because she's dated guys, too. Mm-hmm. So I guess that was, like, the whole, like, are you bi? You know?
Okay. I remember her saying that in an interview.
Yeah, and I seen that, and somebody said, like, are you bi? And I think her response was, like, I like who I like, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I like what I like. And I was, like, very much like, that. Me.
Yeah.
Like, I like what I like. And it was so crazy, because I dated, like, this girl, too, in high school. I don't know if it was dated, but maybe talked. I don't know.
Talked. Let's just say talked.
Yeah, talked.
Yeah.
You know, like, pending relationship kind of
yeah.
thing. Very buffer. She asked me to, like, I knew her from middle school, from IAEA. I went to IAEA with her. And I knew her from middle school. And she was, like, one of those popular girls. Everyone knew her. She played softball. She played basketball. So we played basketball together. And we had a friendship at that point. You know, like, very much like basketball teammates. Like, go out with the team. Go eat, you know? Yeah. And I found myself, like, slowly attracted to her. Oh. And I kept staring at her. And she would be like, what are you staring at? You know?
I got a bugger.
And, like, I'm just like, no, nothing. And I didn't know she was gay, but she wasn't open about it either.
Yeah.
And we graduated. We graduated high school. We knew each other throughout high school. We graduated high school. And a couple months down the line, it hits December. Christmas parties are happening, right? She invites me to her job's Christmas party. She's like, oh, would you mind being my +1? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't mind. Like, yeah, sure.
Why not? Yeah.
And so she picks me up. We go and do our thing, you know, go to her company party. And, like, there was this point in time where after, like, eating and, like, the talk session, everything, The Green came out to play music. I guess that's who they hired. So we're in the front, and she puts her arms around my waist.
Okay.
And I was very much in shock. Like, I was like, whoa. Like, oh my gosh. Like, does she like me like how I liked her?
As a woman, when that happens, are you quick to, what the fuck? Or do you smidge on over and just go and put...
No, okay. So down? For me, because I'm not a very much affectionate person.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for me to show affection.
Yeah.
And so when that happened, I was like...
Oh, okay.
I was very much like, oh... Like, I thought I bumped somebody at the first thought. Like, I'm like, oh, sorry. And then she looked at me. And then I looked down and I saw her hand, like, on me. And I was like, oh, my God. She was smooth with it.
Yeah, shoot a shot.
And then she just looked at me and then she smirked. And I was like, okay. Like, I just, like, you know, scooted closer. So she was behind me. And, like, I don't know if it was The Green. I mean, it could have been any, like, local artist playing. But... like, we were just having a good time, and she was just behind me. Then she puts her arm, like, around my head, or not my head, my shoulder, because she's taller than me. And we're just vibing, and then she, like, comes in front of me, and she faces towards me, and I'm like, the concert's that way.
She was putting...
Yeah. And I was like, the concert's that way. Like, I was like, I grabbed her shoulders, and I turned her, and she turned back around, and then she was like, can I kiss you? And I was like, no.
I mean, that's good. That's good that you have boundaries.
Yeah, I was like,
That's your
dang.
boundary right there.
I was like,
Yeah.
dang, this is like our first outing together,
Yeah,
you know?
you're trying to make out with me or something.
And then
yeah.
I was like, no. She was like, okay. Okay.
I mean, at least you respect.
Yeah.
You're respectful with it.
Yeah.
You know?
And then, so that happened, and we forgot about it. Like, it just passed. And then we're driving home. Like, she's going to take me home. And she holds my hand, like, inside the car.
Like boyfriend-girlfriend status?
Yeah. Like, very, like...
Ooh, that's cringe.
Like, very, like, this. And then, like, ending up, like, she puts her hand on my thigh, and I move it. Like,
It's like, yeah, it's not going the way you want.
yeah, like, I move it like this, and then I'm like... Nah. Like, I just tap her hand. And so I guess she catches the vibe and that I'm not ready for that kind of stuff. And
that's good for you.
And like she's just holding like her hands like this, so I'm like.
Oh, okay. So you put her down gently. With
Yeah.
The cold water, yeah. So you're just
Yeah.
like,
So
yeah.
So that happened, and then when I left, like she went to hug me, and I think I just like went in for a shake. Like it was so awkward.
Okay, that was an awkward moment. Right
Yeah,
there.
like that was very much like what the heck. Like you walk back inside the house and you're like, what did I do?
Should have done.
Like
I wonder what she was thinking on the drive home.
No, yeah, that's why I was like, oh. And then she texted me and she's like, oh, I had a good night. Like
You know what? That's
you
good.
know,
That's
yeah.
very courteous of her.
Yeah, and she like told me like, oh, I'm home. You know, I'm home safely.
Oh, that's good.
I had a good night. I hope you sleep well. I talk to you later. And then I was like, okay, yeah, good night. You know.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Good job, girl.
And like, so fast forward, like, we're like talking on the phone, FaceTime almost all the time, and like we'd go out on the weekends, and we started dating, eventually.
Wow.
And that was the very first time like I told my
What's up?
adoptive dad, I was seeing a girl, and he was like, oh,
Go
what?
Jhun.
Yeah, like he just like looked at me and he was like, oh, okay. I mean,
Go ahead, girl.
he was like, whatever. I mean, yeah, if she treats you like my dad's thing is like if they treat you good,
Yeah.
very much like that. And from my past like relationships, like even my parents don't know this, so if they watch this, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. My past relationships, I was in an abusive one,
Yeah.
a very very abusive one.
You and I talked about that. I remember that.
And I think that like messed me up mentally.
Uh-huh.
So like that's why I'm not affectionate or as affectionate
As
I was.
Uh-huh.
And so
Has
when
traumas.
yeah, like when my dad asked me like, "Oh, how come you're dating girls?" and I was just like, "I think I just like them better." Like they know, like, you know, girls know girls. Yeah, girls girl.
Oh God.
So
I've heard that. So girls know girls. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. I got
I mean, I know that there are guys out there. Don't get me wrong. Who mean well.
Uh-huh.
Who know how to treat women. They're very, you know, very chivalrous, and applauds to you. But at the same time, I think just for myself, because of that past trauma, because of that one abusive relationship that it took that toll on me.
Yeah.
And I was in it for so long. Like, it was to a point where it's like I tried to break away and then he'd find another way back in. And then like in my head I was thinking like, oh my God, like I'm not getting away from this. Like I might as well just stay in it. And I did. And I think like a lot of people do that, you know, like, okay, I'm not gonna get out of it. He's not gonna let me go. I'd rather just suck it up. And I did. I sucked it up. And then I went to basic. And
just cut it off.
that was when I was like, okay, I'm good.
Man, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to a goddamn basic for giving her the balls.
I mean, it did for the most part. Like, it made me a lot more stronger. But when I came back home, it was like a replay all over again. Like,
Oh, God.
he was like, hey, girl. And I was like,
Well, Jhun, I am super glad that you found the person that
I know.
God put on this earth for you.
I know.
Like that mold.
I think-
Yeah, that fits your mold.
Yeah. No, okay. So she really does. Like,
That's good.
she really
Hell yeah.
does. And, like, shout out to my wife because she's a
Shout
real
out.
one.
Meow.
She's a real one. Because, like, we've been through some stuff, you know.
Oh, I could only imagine.
I think everyone, you know, it always takes a turn for the worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
And
You need those. You need those.
I'm super appreciative to her and her family. Like, my family, they're not the greatest, you know, they're kind of toxic in their little ways.
They're very supportive.
But-
Yeah.
but I don't think they care.
Oh, even better.
Like I just think they're just like, okay, she'll do what she wants to do, especially because I'm the baby of the family. Like they're just like, you know.
Even better.
So
Even better.
like shout out to my wife because she's a trooper.
Mm-hmm.
For real. Like she's a trooper. Like she done seen it all, and like she barely met like my whole family yet. Cause like we just live so far apart.
Yeah.
And like we barely get together like how her family does. So it's like she sees like the backlash, the toxicity, and everything like that, and she still stays. And I'm like, girl.
Girl, thank you.
I'm like, girl. I'm like, yes.
Purr it.
And then I'm like, I'm just like, wow, like, and
Like,
sometimes
thank you again,
she, it's crazy because she gets mad, and then she like always tells me like, why do you like keep talking to them? Like, she's like, and I'm like, I don't want them to think that I'm, you know, choosing my relationship over them.
Yeah.
I said, I think it goes back to like what my mom always told me, like family will always be there.
Oh, definitely.
And like, I said, I'm like, for me, I'm not ready to cut ties with people in my family because of the past, you know, like if they've had influential, what's that?
Influence.
Influential. Yeah. Influence. You know, the words. If they've had like really good upbringing on my half, like they had a hand in raising me, it's so hard to cut it, you know?
Oh, definitely.
Like the love is so strong, but at the same time, the hurt is strong too. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I tell her all the time, like, babe, like, you don't understand. Like, I wish I could help you understand, but I don't know how to explain it, you know? And it's just like, they weren't always like this. Like, I always tell her that, like they weren't always like this. There were times where it was good. It was great. And it's like, I felt the sense of, like, family.
Yeah.
I said, and now I'm just an adult. Maybe it's because I'm an adult, you know?
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Like you grew up.
Yeah, I was like, maybe because I'm an adult, the feelings and the point of view is different. And things are just different now. And it's like, it's hard to let go because you're still holding on to that childhood. Mm-hmm. Like, that's your childhood, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone always wants to go back to their childhood, no matter what time and place, you know? Like, there's something in that makes you happy and you hold on to it.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell her, you know, like, that's just me holding on to my childhood. And maybe I'm not ready to let it go. Uh-huh. I said, and if you think about it, like, I didn't get a childhood, you know? I had to grow up fast. Yeah. You know, I was like, so, like, in this point in time, like, I'm just enjoying it.
Enjoy it.
Like,
definitely enjoy it.
Even though it's toxic.
Who cares?
Hey.
Who cares, right? Jhun, that was fun.
I know.
That was definitely fun. Do you have any shout outs or anything before we dip out? And do you want people to find you on the gram or whatnot?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, follow me.
Yeah. Shout out. Do you have any shout outs or anything? Or where can these people find you at if you're just listening?
Instagram. It's really long.
You know what? Just I'll put it in the description.
I was like, yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah.
So long.
It's a lot of vowels.
But yeah, just Instagram. I'm not on any like other social media platforms. I mean, maybe me and my wife, like, we just got like a GoPro, so maybe we'll have like vlogging adventures here.
Hey, that'll be sick. I'll subscribe.
So, yeah. So we're definitely in our foodie era though.
Oh, ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey.
So if you follow me, like, you know, I'll be posting some stuff. We're definitely gonna try a lot of new places that we haven't tried.
Good.
Especially because she's not from here, so Oahu has a lot of new eateries coming up. So
yeah.
Even more so. And just follow us, cause.
Cool.
You know, just cause.
Just cause.
We can be friends.
Cause. Cool. With that being said, shout out to KO Studios for the lovely home. Rafi Bite, thank you for the lovely beat. And with that, I'm Chris.
And I'm Tema.
And we out this bitch. Peace.